Welcome to $1 IAS. $1, one dream IAS.
Hello, good morning everybody. So this is $1 IAS. Here I will teach you GS classes, not GS, but optional also, free of cost, without charging a single rupee from you. Like you have seen coaching institutes that are charging high money, not high money, like if you see they are charging lakhs of rupees for GS classes. Okay. So after realizing all these things, our team has come with some solution to this problem, and this is like we will teach you GS classes of course free of cost without charging a single rupee from you. Not only GS, we will also be teaching you optional classes like sociology, and further we will proceed. Okay, so today is our first class and today I will teach you polity. Okay, so today is the polity first class. So I'm asking a question from you, like if you go into any institute or anywhere, or suppose if you are doing any answer writing, or suppose there is a relative around, they will ask, ki you are doing preparation for UPSC, then tell me what is constitution. So what are you going to say? Okay, you will say constitution, like there are various points, like you will say constitution is a rule book. Of course it's right, constitution is the rule book of India. And then you can say no, like somebody saying no, it is the highest source of power. Okay, of course all law, everything have to in conformity with the constitution. Okay, if somebody is saying no, like it is a rule book, it is something that has people faith and aspiration. Okay, we derive power. So like within class you can see many different answers to the single question, that is what is constitution. Okay, like it is a comprehensive legal faith aspiration living document, we can say. Okay, it puts limits to the power of the government. Okay, so when you are writing answer, you have to come with all these answers. You have to come with all these points, like what is constitution. First, it is the highest source of power. All law should conform with the constitution. Third thing we can say that it is the highest. It is the rule book of India. Okay, it is a living document. All means it is a comprehensive legal document. Okay, so when you are writing this, okay, you have to come with all these points, and then you can write a perfect answer to this question, that what is constitution. So this is just an introduction, like within the class, or like suppose if somebody is preparing for UPSC and you will ask, ki bhaiya or didi or brother or uncle, whatever she is. So if you ask, ki you are doing preparation for UPSC, then tell me what is constitution. So everybody is aware, but we are unable to print on this paper. Okay, ki what should be the right answer, that must, the teacher must get impressed by this answer. Everybody is aware. Okay, like even if you ask for any rickshaw puller, he will say, she will say, ki yeah, of course, constitution is the highest source of power. It is the rule book. Okay, this is what everybody is aware. But how you print on the answer sheet, that is important. Okay, so with this introduction, let's start today's class. Okay, so I will just give you some introduction to this means preamble and something. Okay, so preamble and constitution, of course. So suppose if I am asking like what is preamble? Okay, so preamble, what you will say? Preamble is something that is written. And so suppose if you went for interview and the interviewer will ask, do you know preamble? What is preamble? Then what are you going to say? Okay, so preamble has some you can say some aspirations and how we have to become. Like India has to become a sovereign state. India has to become a socialist state, a secular state, a democratic equality. Okay, this is what we want to achieve. Okay, to make India ideal state. This is what we want to become. Okay, and how do we become like this? We become like suppose while becoming a sovereign state, more and more sovereign. Like still you can see there are some influences of the foreign power into India's international relations. So India is a sovereign state, but we are trying more and more to become sovereign, more and more democratic state. We are trying. Okay, so in this process, we will try not to compromise with the fraternity of India. Okay, so what we are trying to become, or what we have become, what we have achieved. We are trying to become a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republic state. Okay, this is what our preamble is saying. And while becoming such an state, such an ideal state, we will not compromise with the justice. We will not compromise the liberty. Okay, like everybody is equal. Like becoming, like when you are becoming democracy, you cannot compromise with the rights of the LGBTIQ. Okay, so you will not compromise with the liberty. You will not compromise with the equality, fraternity. Okay, justice. So these are the aspirations, and following this path, we will achieve and we will become a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republic state. Okay, so this is the overall idea. Like, what is our preamble? Okay, now what I will teach you in today's class, I will teach you like what are the laws, what are the different types of laws, how it is involved. Okay, so what I said, constitution is the law. Let me write also. Okay. Okay, so what is constitution? Okay, so you can say constitution is the supreme law of the land. Constitution is the constitution. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Okay, it is for all constitutions. Okay, like whether it is the constitution of Pakistan, whether it is the constitution of UK, US, whatever, but constitution is the supreme law of that land. Okay, constitution is the supreme law of that land. So what are the different types of laws are there? Okay, so we will see about different types of laws. Laws in India. Laws of India. Okay, so what are the different types of laws in India? Okay, so there are some laws which you will find that it is written in the constitutions. Okay, so those laws which are written in the constitution, they are known as constitutional law. So first is constitutional. First is constitutional law, constitutional laws. Now, the second, like for example, fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are the constitutional right. They are written in the constitution. Now, the second law is the, we can say, statutory law. What are statutory law? Statutory laws, these are the laws which are made by the parliament. Okay, for example, form law, whatever the law, like you see, form law and removal of Article 370. Okay, abrogation of Article 370. Okay, so these are what you can say, these are made by the parliament. These are made by parliament. On the other hand, constitutional law are written in constitution. Constitutional rights, constitutional laws are the laws that are written in the constitution. Statutory laws are the laws made by the parliament. Example हो गया, for example, like you can say form law, CAA, okay, form law, CAA, CRPC. These are made by the parliament. Okay, so they are known as statutory law. First is constitutional law that are written in the constitution. Second is statutory laws, the laws made by the parliament. Okay. Now the third one. Okay. Now the third one are the ordinances. Ordinances. Okay. What are ordinances? Ordinances are passed by the by president and governor. Ordinances are passed by the president and governments, and it is for temporary period. It may be permanent if it is passed by the executive. Like you have seen farm law. Farm law is basically an ordinance. Okay, it was an ordinance. Okay, now it is abrogated. Okay, so third one is ordinances. Fourth, judicial decision. As you can see on my screen. Fourth one is judicial decision. Okay, judicial decision, that is decision made by the Supreme Court and High Court. Okay, decision made by the Supreme Court and High Court. Example like you can see the example of Puttaswamy versus Union of India. Puttaswamy versus Union of India 2017. Okay, and what we get in that decision, we have a right to privacy. Okay, right to privacy. Right to privacy is from Article 21, right to life. It is derived from right to life. Okay, so judicial decision is also law. Fifth. Fifth, you can say international provision. International provision. Okay. International provision. Example, how can you say that international provision is the law? For example, if there is a bilateral agreement between India and China related to free trade agreement, then government of India has to make amendment. Okay, has to change the law as per the agreement. For example, we signed COP21. Okay, climate change. So we are working like green hydrogen. If you have read the newspaper, today's article, it is mentioning how green hydrogen will be problem for us. Okay, it will create hazardous impact. Okay, on our climate. Okay. You have seen that green hydrogen is from the hydrogen which we are producing by using the renewable source of energy. Okay, but still it will have climate impact. So it is. So if government has signed anything, so government has to work as per the agreement. Okay. So fifth one is international agreement. For example, we can say, if we have signed bilateral agreement, between India and USA, whatever. Okay, India and USA. Suppose, okay, climate change. Okay, any treaty, climate change. Okay, and you might be aware that in yesterday newspaper, it was talking that Israel has used phosphorus gas. So Israel has used, but India has signed that is chemical. Okay, that India will not use chemical hazardous weapon. So India is a signatory to this. So if India is a signatory, then India has to go by the law, that is by the international, as per the international agreement. Okay. Now the sixth, you can say bylaws. What are bylaws? Okay. Bylaws are the laws made by the panchayat and municipal. Panchayat and municipal corporation or council. Okay, municipal corporation or council. These are known as bylaws. Okay. Now the seventh part. Seven. What we can say? Rules, regulations, rules, regulations, orders, directions, notifications, rules, regulation, direction, notification by government executive. Okay. By government executive. It also comes under law. For example, new RT rules. Okay. It was a notification. Okay. And we can say about during COVID time that it was said that you need to wear mask. You cannot go out without mask. You have to sanitize. Okay. These are the rules, okay, set by the Government of India. So this is also law. For example, IT rules 2021. Okay. Then COVID protocols. COVID protocols. Now the ninth one. Eighth will be personal law. Personal laws. Personal law means personal law to Muslim. Personal law of Muslim Christians, of Muslims, Christians, Muslim Christians, okay, to protect their culture and heritage. So what we saw, okay, we just seen that we have seen what is Constitution. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Sorry for my handwriting because first time I am writing on a screen. Okay, don't worry. So what are the laws in India? So laws are the constitutional right. Okay, that is written in the Constitution. For example, fundamental right. Okay, that is written in Constitution. For example, is fundamental. Okay, so these are written in the Constitution, given by the Constitution. They are known as constitutional right. Second is statutory law. Laws made by the Parliament. Okay, laws made by the Parliament. For example, Farm Law, CA, CRPC. Okay. So now the third one is ordinances. Ordinances that are passed by the president or the governor during president rule. Okay, and it is for temporary period. Then executive has to pass that order. Okay. Then judicial decision made by the Supreme Court and High Court. And during Puttaswamy versus State of Union of India 2017, right to privacy. Then Article 377 that was abrogated. It was not completely abrogated. What happened we will discuss in other classes, okay, in detail. But I'm just giving you a gist. Okay, so like decriminalization of Article 377. Okay, now there is international provision. International provision means bilateral agreement between India and USA, climate change and everything. Sixth one is bylaw, and seventh is rules and regulations, notifications, directions by the Government of India, executive. Okay, for example, IT rule, personal law. And the last one is personal law. Last one is personal law. Last one is personal law. Okay. So these are the 8 different types of law. Okay. Now, what did I say? That Constitution, okay, that all the laws like from law 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all of them can't violate. What they cannot violate? They cannot violate or conflict with the Constitution. All these 8 law can't violate. Okay. I will say all these law 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They cannot conflict with the Constitution. Cannot conflict with Constitution. They cannot conflict with the Constitution. Okay. They must have to conform with the Constitution. If they violate, suppose in a case, If any law is violating the constitution, then it will be null and void. An example? Yeah, we have an example when Article 377 was violating the right to privacy that was given by Supreme Court. Okay, that of course it is given by the Constitution. Everything is, but right to privacy is derived from Article 21, and a right to privacy using this article we have decriminalized. Okay, it is not completely abrogated. There is Article 377 still. Okay, like Article 377 that talks about, we will discuss in detail. Okay, so right to privacy. So Article 377. So Article 377 was abrogated. Okay, means part of it was abrogated. Decriminalization of homosexuality. So and any other example? Yeah, we have another example. Like in case of Sabrimala, the case is इससे भी अच्छा example I can give, that is triple talaq. Okay, triple talaq. So what it was doing, it was violating. Okay, it was coming with it had a conflict with the Constitution. Next page. So what we can say about Constitution now? That we can say that Constitution is growing slowly and slowly. It is behaving like an organism. So we can say that Constitution an organic law of the land. How can we say? Because it is behaving like an organism which grows. Okay. एक इंसान जैसा behave कर रहा है. It is growing. Okay. And we Indians must behave like its organ. If anything happens, if somebody's house is get burned, or if anything is happening around our mohalla state, so we should feel the pain. So Constitution is also behaving like an organism. How? Because Constitution, we can say that Constitution first came Constitution. Okay, then Constitution slowly and slowly become more and more what you can say, more and more growing. Constitution is slowly and slowly growing more and more. Like initially Article 377 was there. Okay, it was not decriminalized. LGBTIQs plus were not given rights. Now it is decriminalized. So we can say that Constitution has grown up. Okay, Constitution bada ho gaya. Okay, so same thing. So Constitution is, so we can also say that Constitution is an organic law. What we can say, Constitution is an what we can say that Constitution is an organic law. What is organic law? It is Constitution. Okay. Constitution is an organic law. Okay. And what it is doing, it is providing administrative structure. What Constitution is doing, it is providing administrative structure. Like what should be the administrative structure at the state, at the center and the state level. Okay. And also local self-government. So what Constitution is doing, it is an organic law. Okay, organic law, and it is providing administrative structure to a state. State means India as a state. Administrative structure. So administrative structure we have 3 tier. Okay, that is at center, at state, and local self-government. So center we have executive, legislative, judiciary, and state. At a state level, we have executive, legislative, and judicial. But here come, like our center and state executive and legislative is divided, but judiciary is only one. Okay, got my point? If High Court of Karnataka is giving passed any judgment, so it is applicable to the whole of India. It is not applicable only at the part of Karnataka. Okay. Okay, and we have seen state executive. Okay. Okay, so what we have seen the different types of laws of India. Okay, there are 8 different types of laws. Some are by Constitution, by everything, and each law has to conform with the Constitution of India. If it is going in conflict, then it will be null and void. like in case of triple talaq and like in case of Article 377, criminalization of Article 377. Okay, now we have seen what is constitution then. Okay, so what we are doing, constitution is just like an elephant. We are trying to understand it. Okay, if somebody is touching its leg, then we can say, oh, it has leg. So constitution has to grow, and constitution will grow as we will improve our understanding. Constitution will also grow. Okay, so constitution is growing as per our understanding. As we are understanding, okay, constitution is also growing. So then we saw that no, it is an organic law because it is growing. And constitution, what this organic law is doing? This organic law is providing administrative structure at center and at state level. So center we have legislative, executive, and at state we have legislative and executive. Okay. Now we will try to understand what are the different types of constitution. So constitution is generally is of two types. Constitution is generally of, wait, let me use some other thing. Okay, no problem. Training. Okay. So there is generally two types of constitution. There is generally two types of constitution. First is written constitution. That will reduce more. First is okay. First is written constitution. Okay. Now let me use my color. This color. It's fine. First is written constitution. Second is unwritten constitution. Now it's fine. Now how is my handwriting? Okay, tell me in comment section. So first is written constitution, second is unwritten constitution. So what is the difference between written constitution and unwritten constitution? So first see what are the examples of written and unwritten constitution. So unwritten constitution, for example, like UK has unwritten constitution. New Zealand, Israel, all these have unwritten constitution. And written constitution, rest all have written constitution. Okay, all have written constitution. For example, India, Pakistan, whatever the countries, all have written constitution. Okay. Now, what happens in written constitution? There are provisions that are codified. Provisions codified. Codified into what? Codified into a single legal document. Codified into a single legal document. And unwritten constitution, of course, provisions not codified. Okay, rest you can write. Provision not codified into a single legal document. It is not codified into a single legal document. Then what happens? Okay, so it is presented different forms. Okay, it is presented different forms. And they are more haphazard. Haphazard means they are badly organized. Okay, so they are badly organized. What we can say more about it? Like in written constitution. Okay, in written constitution. Okay, let me open up. Okay, now it's fine. Okay, Let me reduce the size. Okay, it's fine. Okay, now I will use this color. Okay, written constitution. Some solution to this problem, and this is like we will teach you. Okay, written constitution. Okay, wow, amazing. Written constitution. Okay, and unwritten constitution. Unwritten, written and unwritten. Okay, what we can say about written constitution? First, we saw that provisions codified into a single legal document. Okay, and how we can say, like for example, in India, how many parts are there in India? So there are 25 parts. Means it is parts are like the chapters. Okay, so it is what we can say, systematically organized. 25 parts are there, and how many articles? 8 articles are here. Okay, and how many schedules? 12 schedule. So what is your homework for today? You have to learn, at least take a quick glance over what are the schedule. Schedule you have to learn. Schedule will be your homework. Okay, and parts will be your homework, at least important parts. Okay. Okay. So it is your parts will be your homework, and your schedule will be your homework. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to see, at least take a quick glance over parts and the schedules. Okay, parts and schedule. There are 2 schedules and 25 parts. So it is systematically organized. Okay, so like systematically organized, like if you see what I say, while studying, just look for the cause. Like I said, there are, like you are going to give UPSC. So you are going to give UPSC. So think like a writer. Think like a writer, that you are going to write something. So suppose you are going to write the Constitution of India. Okay, you were present. You were the part of the Constituent Assembly. So what you will do? What you will write in part 1 of the Constitution? Part 1. What? Definitely you will write about the territory. Definitely. You will write about the territory of India. What is the territory of India? Then, suppose if I will say now part 2, what will you write? Think like a writer. You are going to write the Constitution of India, not that you are going to read. Because if you think like a student, think like a teacher. Okay, you are going to formulate. You will be one of the cabinet secretary. Many of you can be the cabinet secretary. So in part 2, what will you write? In part 2, you will definitely be writing about the population of India. You will be writing about the population of India. Now in part 3, if I will say part 3, what will you write in part 3? Part 3 about the government. Okay, that is fundamental right. Okay, then part 4, the DPSP, like government is giving you fundamental right. Okay, government about government, that is fundamental right, that we are going to create a territory, that it will be so big. Okay, इतना होगा, it will be its territory, यहाँ से यहाँ तक जाएगा, अफगानिस्तान से लेकर के कहाँ तक. Okay, suppose जम्मू कश्मीर to Kerala, Mizoram. Okay, इतनी बड़ी territory है India. And then you will talk about the population. Then you will say, what are the rights we are going to give to that population. So what you are saying, you are talking about fundamental right. Now, and in the 4th one, you will talk about part 4, DPSP. Okay, DPSP. You will talk about DPSP. Okay, then of course fundamental duty. So as you can say, it is systematically organized. So what you have to do, your homework is to read about parts, 25 parts and 12 schedules. Okay, so part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. as we proceed. Okay. And the second thing, what you can see in this written constitution, that it is enacted. Okay. It is enacted. It is enacted. Enacted means it was brought into existence by single source. Okay. Like our constitution is brought into force by the Constituent Assembly. So Constituent Assembly was the one source, and at one time. Okay. When our constitution came into force, our constitution came into force, tell me, 26th November 1959. 26th November 1949. And for US, 26th March 1784 US. Okay. So it is our constitution. But in case of unwritten constitution, they are evolved. What they are? They are evolved. They are evolved means they have multiple source. They have multiple source. Okay. They are evolved slowly and slowly. Like our understanding of the constitution is evolving, in the same way, the unwritten constitution, it is not UN. Okay. Unwritten constitution is evolving. It has multiple source. Multiple source means no definite beginning. It has no definite beginning. For example, in Magna Carta, okay, Magna Carta in 15 AD. In Magna Carta, King John, who used to say, he was the king. Okay, so he was there. They are signed the Great Charter. The Great Charter, in which some of the power was taken from the hands of the King John. Okay, so what you can say, it is slowly evolving. It is growing. Okay, so it has many source, multiple source, and the Great Charter. Okay. Now let me open another page. Okay. So what we can say about the written constitution? Okay, what we can say about the written constitution? It is historical accident. Historical accident. It is historical accident. It is historical accident. Like for example, in 26 November 1959, historical accident took place. Okay, and there we got constitution. Okay, what we can say about it, और क्या कह सकते हैं? Constitution emerged first. First constitution emerged. First constitution emerged. Then legislative, executive, and judiciary. Okay. First is what? First is constitution. After constitution, it is legislative, executive, and judiciary. Clear? Okay. So if constitution is emerged first, if constitution is first, then what is supreme? What is supreme? Constitution is supreme. If constitution has emerged first, then what is supreme? It is constitution which is supreme. Okay. So if constitution is supreme, okay, so judicial enjoys vital power. Okay, so there will be judicial review. Okay, why judicial review? Because it is historical accident. First constitution emerged, then legislative, executive, and judiciary. So it is supreme. So to protect its supremacy, Supreme Court will be given power. So how Supreme Court will exercise power? Supreme Court will exercise power through judicial review. Got my point? Now, in unwritten constitution, in unwritten constitution, what came first? What came first? What came first? Come on, huh. What came first? What came first? It is Parliament. Okay. Parliament first. Parliament came first, then Constitution. Parliament came first, then Constitution. So what is supreme here? It is Parliament, which is supreme. Parliament is supreme. What is supreme? Parliament is supreme. So if Parliament is supreme, then judicial review will be there, of course, but it is restricted judicial review. So here we can say restricted judicial review. Okay, restricted judicial review. Got my point? Okay. Now, okay. Now, amendment of the Constitution in case of written Constitution. In case of written Constitution. In case of written Constitution, it can be rigid. It can be rigid. Okay. Amendment of the Constitution can be rigid. It can be flexible. Flexible also. It can be rigid. It can be flexible, or both, which we will study in detail. Okay. There are certain provisions which are flexible and some are rigid. Okay. Some are flexible, some are rigid, depending upon the provision. Okay. And in case of unwritten Constitution, it will always be flexible. Why flexible? Because what is supreme? In case of unwritten Constitution, what is supreme? It is Parliament, which is supreme. Parliament is supreme. So if Parliament is supreme, then who is enjoying the power? It is Parliament. So what Parliament will try to do? Parliament will make it flexible. Okay? Okay. Now, if I will ask, what is flexibility? What is flexibility and what is rigidity? Okay. So, not in terms of science, in terms of constitution, in terms of polity, what is rigidity and what is flexibility? So, if more than one authority, then it is rigid. If one authority, then it is flexible. Okay, sure. Okay. Now, in case of written constitution, there can be federal form of government. There can be unitary form of government. It depends. It can be federal, it can be unitary. But in case of unwritten constitution, okay, wait, I did something bad. Okay. In case of unwritten constitution, it will always unitary. It will always unitary. It will always unitary. Okay. Now, in case of written constitution, there will be marked distinction between constitution and other laws. Like we have seen 8 different types of laws. So there will be marked distinction between constitutional law and other laws. There will be marked distinction between them. Okay. But in case of unwritten constitution, UNC, okay, in case of unwritten constitution. There will be no marked distinction between constitution and other law. No marked distinction. Okay. No marked distinction between constitution law and other law. Okay. So why is it so? Why? Because what is supreme? It is constitution which is supreme in case of written constitution. So if constitution is supreme, then like what is constitution law, what is other law, there will be marked a distinction. But in case what is supreme, it is parliament which is supreme. So parliament will decide. Okay. So there will be difference, like these are parliamentary law, these are constitution. If constitution itself is not written, so how can we say that these laws are, there is a marked distinction between the laws? Okay. It is unwritten, not written, not codified anywhere because of this. Okay. So there is no marked distinction. Okay. So do we have any example of unwritten constitution, something that there is no marked distinction? Yeah, we have. Like for example, Representation of People Act 1950 and 1951. RPA, Representation of People Act 1950 and 1951. And your homework is to look for both RPA 1950 and RPA 1951. There you will find difference. Okay. What happens if it is not properly codified? Slowly you will understand. Okay. As you will be with me. So this is what happened. Now, the other difference we can see is that in case of written constitution, government less by convention and more by own tradition. Okay. What is this? Less by convention. Convention means something that is not written, but it is still followed. It is called convention. What is convention? Convention. Not written anywhere. But followed. It is not written anywhere, but followed. For example, in India, do we have this? That is, we are following convention. Okay, not tradition. But something that is followed. But it is not written anywhere. Constitution does not specify it, but we are still following it. What is this? For example, like in Lok Sabha, if the speaker is from ruling party, so the vice speaker, okay, or deputy speaker, it is not vice speaker. Deputy speaker will be from opposition. It is not written anywhere, but you will still say, it is being followed. Okay. So speaker, this is what you can mention. Okay. Speaker is from ruling party. So deputy speaker is from opposition. Is it written anywhere? No. But we keep on following. So it is called convention. What is this? It is convention. So we have less convention and more what is written. Okay. We follow more what is written. And in case of unwritten constitution, there is more convention. Of course, more convention. कहीं लिखा ही नहीं है. So what we will do? You will follow by convention and less provision. Here what are you doing? Here more provisions are there. More provisions as you are working as per the provision because everything is written. Here less provision and more convention. Okay. This is what we have seen. So let's revise what we saw today. Okay. So we started with constitution. What is constitution? Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Okay. Supreme law of the land. Okay. So all laws must conform with the constitution. So then we saw what are the different types of laws are there in India. So first is constitutional law, the laws which are specified, especially mentioned in the constitution. For example, fundamental right. Then statutory laws, the laws made by the parliament. Okay, like for example, form law, CA, CRPC. Okay, these are next. Next we saw ordinances. So ordinances are those which are passed by the president or governor. Okay, for example, Article 370. Okay, abrogation of Article 370, not 77. 77 is by judicial order. Okay, and 370 is by ordinance. Form law was also an ordinance. Okay, so passed by the president and governor. Okay, now judicial decision made by the Supreme Court and High Court. Example, Puttaswamy versus Union of India 2017. Okay, we got right to privacy. Then 5 is international provision, like bilateral agreement between India, USA, climate change. Okay, India is a signatory. If India is a signatory to anything, then India must change its rules and regulation as per its agreement. Now, bylaws, laws made by the Panchayat and Municipal Corporation. It also comes under law. Okay. If Panchayat is saying, there is increased number of murder cases, okay, in our Panchayat. So, regarding this, okay, we have to follow some protocols like while going out, okay, you have to go in a group like 2 to 3 people. Then also it will be a law. Okay. Now the rules, regulation, orders, direction, notification by the Government of India, executive. For example, IT rule of 2021, COVID protocols. Okay, it is by rules, regulations, orders passed by the Government of India. Now the eighth one is personal law made for Muslim, Christians. Okay, and these are the personal law. So all these eight law must conform with the constitution. If there is conflict, so then it will be null and void. So is there an example? Yeah, Article 377. Using right to privacy, we made it null and void. Okay, decriminalized homosexuality. Now, so only homosexuality is decriminalized. Other laws are still there, which we will study in other classes. Then triple talaq. Okay. Now, then we saw what is constitution. After looking at this, we saw that what is constitution? It is an organic law. Slowly it is growing. Then there are 2 types of constitution: written constitution, unwritten constitution. Written constitution example, like rest all country except some countries. Who are those? Like UK, New Zealand, Israel. Okay, these I have unwritten constitution. So what is the difference between written constitution and unwritten constitution? In written constitution, provisions are codified into a single legal document. And in unwritten constitution, provisions are not codified, more haphazard, badly arranged. We are just revising. Now, in written constitution, for example, if I am saying that they are organized properly, for example, there are 25 parts, 448 article, 12 schedules. Okay, then I told you, how we can say that it is properly codified. Like example, in part 1, territory, then population, then fundamental right, DPSP. Okay, but in unwritten constitution, it was evolved from multiple sources. Like example, in Magna Carta, King John gave some power to people, so it is known as the Great Charter. Okay. So, and it was enacted. Written constitution was enacted. For example, our constitution, it was enacted in 26th November, okay, in USA, in 27th November 1974. Okay. So, if I am saying that in written constitution, okay, in written constitution, it was an historical accident. So what came first? If it was an historical accident, so everything is linked. What came first then? If it is first constitution came, after constitution, what came? Legislative, executive, judiciary. So what enjoys supremacy? It is Supreme Court which enjoys supremacy. So how it will exercise its power? Through judicial review. Okay, so judicial review will have vital role to play in case of written constitution. But in case of unwritten constitution, first parliament came, then constitution. So what is supreme? It is parliament. So means judicial review is restricted. Now in written constitution, it can be rigid, it can be flexible, or both. What is rigidity? If more than one authority. And in unwritten constitution, it is flexible. Flexible? Okay. And in written constitution, there will be federal structure and there will be unitary structure. Okay. But in case of unwritten constitution, it will always be unitary. Always remember, always unitary. Written constitution, there is marked distinction between constitution and other laws. And in unwritten constitution, there is no marked distinction. For example, RPA Act of 1950. Last sheet we need to revise. That is here. In written constitution, not written, convention. Okay. Here more conventions, less convention will be there. And convention example I gave you. Okay. And in unwritten constitution, there will be more convention and less provision. This is what we have seen. Okay. With this, we are going to end our class. So one important announcement is that here I will teach you GS classes, all GS classes free of cost. I will not charge a single penny for this. But what you need to do,